It's 6:43, kicking off your morning sprint. I-10 between Tangerine and Ava Valley Road back open this morning after a deadly crash overnight. KOld News 13's Morgan Kirkland, the first one on the scene. Morgan, tell us what happened here.
Well, Andrew, traffic out here on the I-10 in Tangerine is finally back to normal after being shut down for nearly 4.5 hours because of this. Take a look at your screen right now. DPS officials, they tell me that a man was walking on the freeway when he was hit by a semi. I'm being told that the man was in his 50s or early 60s. We still don't know why that man was walking on the freeway. There was no sign of a car breaking down or anything along those lines. That's exactly what DPS will be investigating today. So right now they're working to figure out who that man was. And of course, you will be the first to know all of this information if you have our Tucson News Now mobile app. That is the latest from Marina. I'm Morgan Kirkland. Back to you.
Back to your morning sprint right now. Marina police looking for whoever robbed someone at an ATM last night. It happened around 9:30 at Ina in Thornydale. We're told that person had a weapon. Investigators haven't released a lot of details. We'll keep you posted once we learn more. Right now, 2 teens in the hospital after being shot near 22nd and Wilmot. We're told one has life-threatening injuries, the other seriously hurt. Police say 2 other teens were running away from that area. No word yet if they're connected to the shooting.
Now to a brand new update to tell you about this morning after a Phoenix police officer is shot on the job. Right now we have reporter Jim Cross from our sister station KTAR joining us live now on the phone. Jim, how is the officer doing this morning?
Well, we received an update from Phoenix police about an hour ago. They say the officer still fighting for his life this morning. He's in critical condition at St. Joseph's Medical Center in Phoenix after an exchange of gunfire yesterday afternoon that left a burglary suspect who was stealing guns from his dad dead in Levine. Phoenix police say the impact of this going well beyond the department, well beyond Phoenix. It's going worldwide with the officer shot.
Yeah, everyone keeping their thoughts in mind for the officer right now as he recovers in the hospital in critical condition. Can you tell us anything about the shooter?
Police have not released any information about that shooter except that he was believed to have been stealing weapons, guns from his father. Police arrived at this home in the Phoenix area. This suspect opened fire on officers. We believe the 5 or 6 officers returned fire, killing the suspect yesterday afternoon.
All right, we'll be sure to stay on top of this story as it develops. Thank you, Jim. Appreciate it. Moving along in your morning sprint this morning, friends and family will say goodbye to 2 Vail students who died in a car crash last weekend. Travis Childress and Madison Birch attended Cienega High School. They were killed when their Jeep crossed a break in the median near Golf Links and Craycroft, hitting a truck. That memorial starts later on this morning. And if you like to work with kids and you're looking for a job, the Vail School District definitely wants to talk to you. The district wants to fill up to 35 open positions in all grades and subjects. We're told school leaders are looking to hire people on the spot during a job fair later on today. It's happening from 4 to 7 o'clock this evening at the Esmond Station K-8 school. That's near Houghton and I-10. While you were sleeping, a fire broke out at a Midtown church. Take a look at this. This video is from TFD. We're told it happened just after midnight near Broadway and Swan. No one was hurt and no word yet on just how badly this church was damaged.
As you wake up this morning, you still might smell smoke on the northwest side. A brush fire burned more than a mile of the Santa Cruz riverbed in Marina. No one had to evacuate, though. Northwest Fire says they'll be back out today watching for hot spots. No word yet on how this fire started.
And late breaking news in your morning sprint. I have been tracking the very latest in the missing Egypt Air flight. It was on its way from Paris to Cairo, Egypt, when it vanished as it entered the Mediterranean. And breaking this morning, investigators are now saying that they have not ruled out terrorism. We are also just now learning that the 66 people on board included 20 Egyptians and 15 French. Now, no word yet of any Americans. It is believed this plane crashed at sea right here in the Mediterranean. Already crews have found what may be debris. They found 2 floating objects in the water. Now, CBS News is monitoring the developments. We just got this information. We're told they may cut into live pictures of this crash. This would be the very first look at the scene. So stay with KOLD for updates on this huge story of the day. Aaron.
Weather and traffic every 10 minutes is sponsored by Goldberg and Osborne, the injury lawyers.
Temperature stepping out the door, 61 degrees in Tucson, 66 in Marana, sitting in the 50s in Sahuarita, highs in the 80s in the Tucson metro area today. A few 90s here over in the west deserts, but not getting too warm for this time of year. Temperatures in the 90s stretching out through Ajo at 93 degrees, out the door at 67 right now. Temperatures here in parts of Cochise County sitting at 54 in Benson as well as Tombstone, 49 in Douglas with highs mostly sticking to the 80s, but a cool in Bisbee with the high of 76 degrees today. Sunshine in our skies from our Tucson Federal Credit Union camera in Midtown Tucson, looking right towards a Finger Rock in the Catalina Mountains. We'll see mostly sunny skies today, not a return of the clouds and the rain we saw yesterday. That has been since kicked out off to our east. However, more spring storms up to our north, lining up to push back on that summertime heat. These will move in as we head through Friday, Saturday, Sunday into Monday. But the cool air with those clashing with our warm air here, that's going to give us the wind. So light winds today becoming a little more gusty on Friday afternoon. Same story on Saturday afternoon. Temperature-wise, 93 degrees. We're up to 12-mile-per-hour winds by 11 a.m. tomorrow, but mostly winds will peak between 3 and 5 o'clock at 20, 21 miles per hour. Not enough to cause major problems in Tucson, but blowing dust issues on I-10 near San Simon is a possibility for weekend travel. So just keep that in mind. I-10 has been closed 7 times here in the last couple of weeks, so it is possible we could see more of those closures through the weekend, really giving headaches to drivers out there. I'll be back in 6 minutes with a look at your 7-day forecast through the rest of the weekend and how long these winds do stick around.
Thanks, Aaron. 6:50 right now. Everything looks pretty good all over the city here on your roads. Here's a live look to one of your interstates, I-10 right near Prince. Everything is moving nicely. Traffic is starting to pick up, but it's still pretty speedy in each direction there. You drive right now from the northwest side, Ina and Oracle area to downtown, 18 minutes, 46 minutes to Davis-Monthan, 36 minutes to the airport on the south side. In that same spot, though, we have extra enforcement this morning, starting in about 10 minutes. This is Oro Valley Police that's conducting this. It's happening on Ina between Oracle and Paseo del Norte, just west of Oracle. That's near Tohono Chul Park. 7 in the morning until 10 in the morning is when you'll see those extra police officers. So make sure to just be careful, slow down, and watch for those police out in that area. You definitely don't want to get a ticket this morning. And always, you want to stay safe as you head out all over Tucson. Coming up in just a few minutes, we'll have another check of your traffic conditions all over the city across southern Arizona.
It's 6:51. Your morning sprint continues now with a recall you need to know about before you pack your lunch. Quaker Oats recalling some of their granola bars because of listeria concerns. It includes 2 flavors of Quaker Oats quinoa granola bars. Those flavors, chocolate nut medley and yogurt, fruit, and nuts. We've got more in the live link section of our website, TucsonNewsNow.com.
And right now, trucks full of produce are keeping inspectors busy in Nogales. This time of year, about 1,500 trucks make their way through the Nogales port of entry every day. Inspectors take a close look at things like mangoes and leafy veggies. They've got the highest risk of having problems.
If foreign pests or plant diseases come into the country and get established, they could damage U.S. agriculture. They could increase the cost of production for our food, and eventually the prices for the consumer will be much higher. Also, another way that they could affect is that other countries will not want to buy our produce.
Even the pallets holding all of the produce are inspected.
This morning, Congresswoman Martha McSally says there are things the TSA can do to make your wait at the airport shorter. Wait times at some airports longer than they've ever been. McSally says one solution, giving local TSA supervisors a little more power.
Needs to have more flexibility to, based on what's going on at their airport, work with the airport authority, work with the airlines, and come up with local solutions to address some of these issues to be much more nimble and responsive.
Another suggestion, she says, make the part-time agents full-time. Saying at the airport pretty soon you won't be able to carry e-cigarettes in your checked bags. Those are being banned by the Transportation Department. You can still have it in your carry-on, but you can't use it on the plane. This ban starts in November.
And new details this morning in a big data breach for the networking site LinkedIn. Believe it or not, hackers are selling email addresses and passwords of more than 100 million users. This morning, LinkedIn says they're working to make the stolen passwords invalid.
We just got a new snapshot of the number of people looking for jobs. It's better than last week. The number of people applying for jobless help dropped to 278,000. That's down 16,000 from last week, the highest level in more than a year. Believe it or not, for the first time in nearly 15 years, here is alcohol sales are down all around the world. Turns out the economy is to blame for that. Even though we're not drinking as much, doesn't mean we're not paying less. The price of alcohol actually went up compared to last year. Thrown, chairs, and death threats in campaign 2016. Some people claim Senator Bernie Sanders supporters were out of control during Nevada's Democratic Party convention just last weekend. This morning, the presidential candidate says that is all nonsense. Yesterday, Vice President Joe Biden backed Sanders, saying he's not to blame for that violent outbreak. Now to Sri Lanka, where happening now, soldiers and police, they're struggling to find hundreds of people missing over those landslides we told you about yesterday. They happened at least 3 villages. This morning, more rain triggered more landslides and forced rescuers to hold off on their search. 18 bodies have been recovered so far.
And go ahead, take a look at this. A rescue out of Washington State. A man fell 60 feet after his ATV went over the edge of a cliff. Rescue crews had to cut away blackberry bushes every few feet while pulling him up the cliff. The rescue took a couple of hours before they were able to take him to the hospital. And this video of a blinding sandstorm in China. The sand wall covered the entire city, turning daytime into night within just a couple of minutes. It took an hour before it could die down, leaving all that dust behind.
Not going to see any of those type of dust storms moving into Arizona. In fact, our weather very pleasant today. Light winds this morning, light winds this afternoon as well. 61 degrees here with just a little bit of leftover clouds possible today, but no rain. That has moved off to the east. Take a look at this. Sunshine in our skies across the board here. We're looking at 89 this afternoon. The gusty winds, though, are back Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I have those as action days because these winds are going to be a nuisance for people living in southeast Arizona, including in Tucson. If you have outdoor plans this weekend, that may be a little bit annoying here, spending that time outside in the winds. These will peak between 3 about 6 o'clock in the afternoon every single day. Mornings, though, we'll have light winds, very pleasant in the 60s. Once we get past the weekend, still breezy, but temperatures mild for this time of year. Our warmest day is Friday at 93 degrees, down to the 80s Saturday and Sunday. Heading up to Mount Lemmon, doing a little hiking, camping this weekend. Just beware, even gustier on top of the mountain, so you may have to weigh down your tent if you're camping up there. Temperatures in the 50s and 60s here through the weekend.
Aaron, as you head out the door right now, traffic, it's looking great. Your roads moving nicely all over southern Arizona here in all parts of town and on both of your interstates. Green means go, and everything is green, either at or above the speed limit. A nice look outside here to the northwest side. Looks great there as well. I-10 near Orange Grove, moving very quickly, both east and west.
It's 6:56. That wraps up your morning sprint this Thursday morning. Still much more ahead on Fox 11 Daybreak. More on that Egyptian plane crash. We're looking at a live look at the Operations Center for Egyptian Air. More than 60 dead this morning, and there are new concerns about this being a terror attack. We'll have more information on that as it comes in over on Fox 11.
And also a memorial is set this morning for 2 local high school students at Cienega High School. We will be there live for you and bring you all the latest details. That and more coming up on Fox 11 Daybreak. Hope you have a great Thursday, everyone.
Text app to 513.